Welcome back to a new segment from the VTM show. So now, with your host Alejandro Pasos, your members of the show, we're going to call Sergio Rodriguez and Mario Yomans. Well, now the topic we're going to discuss is about the book and the film of The Prestige. Where, well, first, it wasn't good as the book. That's the usual response you get from people when they see an adaptation, and I fully expect that after I had finished reading The Prestige, I would feel the same way too. First, a little disclaimer. I love The Prestige. It was directed by Christopher Nolan in between making Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, and starring Batman and Wolverine. And I think it's one of the most underrated films to have come out in the last few years.
After watching it for the first time, my friend and I spent the next few weeks dissecting it, going over scenes, and looking at them from every angle, trying to do that thing you do with any good magic trick. Figure out how they did it. And the Prestige is very much a cinematic magic trick. It gives you a wonderful mystery and gives you the answer it wants to, while being filled with enough clues and misdirection to make you think that maybe you have been had. Maybe there's more going on here than I first thought. People have speculated that the entire film is in fact a trick played on the audience, and while I don't agree with that, I can see how some would come to that conclusion. Every time I sit down to watch the film, I notice something new, a little wrinkle that adds to the mystery that I hadn't seen before, and it makes me love it all more. So, a few weeks ago, I sat down to read The Prestige by Christopher Priest, fully expecting to be even more blown away, sucked in, and fooled by what I thought was going to be literally magic trick. I was wrong. Now, now I don't take that I the wrong way. I like the book. I like the book it, but it's not really on the same level of the film. I know that that's usually the reverse. Often, so much detail and character interaction is lost when a book is translated to film. That what you are left with feels like a highlight package at the best, or at worst, they completely miss the point of the view of the book and run it. Now, the Prestige book and film are very different. Jonathan and Christopher Nolan changed a lot when they wrote the screenplay, from the structure to the ending, even down to the focus of the story. The mystery of the trick that is disappearing man, but every change they made works, and I think it proves the story. For example, the book is structured in a very literary way. First, we have Alfred Borden's account of his life, and then we have Robert Anger's account of his. In both stories, the author is presented as the bad guy, and although it is a fun plot device having the same events told, had to flick back to Borden's account of an event to remember what was happening. In the movie, the two characters' lives are presented together as one story. In typical Nolan fashion, the movie jumps backwards and forwards in time while moving the narrative forward. There are still two diaries, but they are presented in a unique way. Borden is reading Angier's diary, and in it are passages about Angier reading Borden's. In this way, it keeps the two characters focused on one another and shows more, much more clearly how their lives intertwine. Although they still see one another as the villain, we get to see that in fact they are both as bad as one another. Or if we want to or if we want to, we can side with one over the other.
There are other examples. The characters in the book are very much of the 19th century, and the way they write about their lives is quite formal, and it can be a little difficult to identify with them. Sometimes, whereas the characters in the movie are like very modern and also a little bit passionate, characters in the book are also quite dismissive of magic, and the main trick in the particular, which I found to be like a little bit strange for a book about the magicians and also the magic. But the biggest change that I noticed between the book and the movie is the whole subplot from the book that leads into a different ending. The subplot involves the present day descents of Warden and Angier of the attempt to get to the bottom of the feud and solve a mystery of their own. I found this whole subplot like a little bit pointless, and in the ending, it leads into, although it has a few scares, veers too far into the supernatural and gets a bit silly, which kind of ruins the whole book. I'm very glad. I'm very glad this whole subplot was removed and the ending changed for the movie, as I think the Nolan's ending is vastly superior. So I think the book it's like more complete, and I don't think the film is a lot better. I think that I wonder if I will feel the same. I'll read the book first and then the movie, and then watch the movie. I like to think that in my opinion, wouldn't have different so much thought. The main problem for me with the book is that compared to the film, it seems to lack suspense and also mystery. As I said, the only real mystery is in the subplot, and its resolution is to put it like in a frankly and dumb way, whereas the movie made that trick and its execution first by Borden and then ultimately by Angier into the mystery. That's the principal question that drives the film, in my opinion. Unfortunately, that was often the question I had in my mind while reading the book. And with that, we close the segment from the VTM show. So see you next one. Thanks.